Hello, fellow mompreneurs. Welcome to the Real Moms Podcast, the go-to space for resilient entrepreneurs who are striving for abundant living. I'm your host, Shay Spitz, a mompreneur and a realtor here in Columbus, Nebraska. Are you a mom juggling the hustle of entrepreneurship, family life, and personal growth? Well, you're in the right place. On this podcast, we dive deep into the real, unfiltered stories of incredible women who are navigating the journey of mompreneurship. We'll celebrate the victories, share practical insights, and acknowledge that it's okay to face challenges along the way. Success isn't about the destination. It's about the journey and the growth we experience as we balance our careers and the chaos of family life. Whether you're a seasoned mompreneur or just starting on this exciting path, join me and our amazing guests as we explore what it truly means to be a resilient entrepreneur striving for abundant living. Get ready for real, raw, and remarkable conversations that will inspire and uplift you. Because here at the Real Moms Podcast, we believe in the power of community, authenticity, and the strength that comes from embracing the journey together. So grab your coffee, find a cozy spot, and let's dive into the world of mompreneurship. This is the Real Moms Podcast, where we celebrate the hustle, honor the struggle, and thrive as resilient entrepreneurs living abundantly. If you want to soar like an eagle in life, you can't be flocking with the turkeys. This was a quote by Warren Buffett, and Kelly Gufford talked about this quote, especially when referencing your group of people that you surround yourself with on a very regular basis. If you've heard it before, the top 5 people you surround yourself with is going to determine where you go in life. So make sure you are surrounding yourself with the right people who are there to support you, encourage you, motivate you, and hold you accountable. So take a listen to the podcast today with Kelly Gufford. We dive deep into this, and it's just a really good outlook, especially when you're a mompreneur and you are looking to grow your business. So take a listen. So welcome to another episode of Real Moms Podcast. I like to start every podcast off with a motivational quote, and today's quote is, "If you want to soar like an eagle in life, you can't be flocking with the turkeys," and that is by Warren Buffett. So today I have Kelly Gufford. She is a mortgage banker with Old Republic Mortgage. She was raised in Columbus, Nebraska, grew up immersed in real estate, influenced by her grandmother, a successful agent, and her father, who was a builder. She earned a bachelor's degree in pre-law studies from the University of Nebraska, Kearney, while competing as a scholarship athlete on the diving team. Kelly's career spans legal compliance, specializing in tax planning, investment law, and real estate law. A former collegiate and high school diving coach, Kelly's associates include Western Athletic Conference Coach of the Year and coaching at a top-tier competitions like the NCAA National Championships and Olympic Trials. Now, Kelly is dedicated to raising her 2 daughters with her husband, Brandon. Together, they enjoy golfing, hiking, skiing, and more. Kelly's background in real estate construction and financial expertise ensures exceptional service for homeowners. Her awards include Loan Officer of the Year 2021 through 2023 and top producer at her branch. So congratulations, Kelly, on all of that. Honestly, I didn't even know anything about the athletic coaching and all of that. That is absolutely amazing.
Thank you. It was a fun chapter.
I bet. So kind of tell me, how did you get to where you're at and what got you here?
Yeah, I just feel like God has a path, and that path it's set. However, you have lots of decisions to make. And so in high school, I was on the swimming and diving team, and I really wanted to get college paid. So I thought I would go the military route and also start looking at athletic scholarships. And UNK in Kearney came up with a great scholarship opportunity, and I could do pre-law studies. So that was fantastic. And that just rolled into me coaching at the high school level. And before I knew it, I had graduated and ready to get my first job. And I thought I wanted to go to law school. It just wasn't resonating with my heart. So I had my pre-law degree. So I went to one of the best law firms in Omaha and begged for a job. And right, if you want to soar like an eagle, don't flock with the turkeys. So me finding a really good law firm to get my foot in the door and learn was incredible. And that whirlwinded into coaching for Marion and Creighton Prep and Brownell Talbot, which are some pretty elite schools in Omaha. And from there, I met my husband. And He was applying to med school and pharmacy school. And I have always kind of held two full-time jobs. So I had two linear career paths. One as a paralegal, working for fantastic attorneys, and one as a coach. And then once his path took us to UNC Chapel Hill for his next doctorate, his specialty program, I walked up and introduced myself to the head US Olympic coach at Duke. And of course, they told me no. And eventually, with enough volunteering, got my foot in the door and was the assistant coach for the London 2012 Olympic quad. In addition to still having a full-time job, because I was working at a fund-to-fund investment firm doing paralegal work. So and like you, Shay, right? You are incredibly hard worker. You're juggling multiple things. And I don't know if I call it naive optimism or just dumb luck. I don't know if I just don't take no for an answer. It's just, I'm so naive that why can't I do it? Why? Why can't I go? Or I just don't know any better.
Yeah.
With coaching and all the paralegal work, and that led into me having the years in the financial service to do my job now, working for the fund-to-fund investment firm. And then it just kept going. So I was fortunate enough to serve as the assistant to the head U.S. Olympic coach on London 2012 and Rio 2016.
Oh my God.
And that's
so fun.
And then still working. And then as a coach, and once coaching led to full-time collegiate coaching, all coaches have extra duties. And so my extra duties were being a paralegal for doing NCAA compliance. The coaches and kids that would break the rules, sorting through what do the guides say, what do the federal laws say, what's the NCAA say, how are we going to process this? So working with the legal counsel at each of these universities. I don't know, it's just been incredible. And I think each of them was a stepping stone to prepare me for today. And I'm sure that this job now is preparing me for whatever God has in plan next, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's been incredible. And the way I found my job now is we were looking for a house. Once my husband was done, it was time to buy a house. And I called a Zillow agent, right? I got on Zillow, clicked that button, and the Zillow agent is like, you know what? You need to talk to my lender. She's got 52 loan programs. She's got a doctor loan. And so I talked to this lady, and now that lady's my branch manager, Robin Mollisberry. She's been life-changing for me, and God had a plan, right? And when I told her I wanted a job, she told me no. Like the same theme throughout all this is I've always been told no. And eventually, with enough talking and passing the exams, and she was justified in telling me no. She had no idea my background and this and that. But now I get to work beside her every day, and she's one of my strongest mentors in life, one of my strongest cheerleaders.
That's amazing. And I mean, through all of that, my biggest takeaway from what you said is persistence and just not giving up. Because most people, when they're told no, they think, oh, well, it wasn't meant to be. Every no is one step closer to that yes. Like if it's truly meant to be, like you have to work for it. It's not just going to be handed to you. It does take work.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are things that I've wanted and I didn't get. It's not like every single thing you go for, you get. It's more of the problem solving mindset.
Yeah.
It's what is my goal? What am I not getting? And is there a workaround, or do I just need to close that door and pivot in a different direction? And many times it just takes a little bit longer for that door to open, or you need to learn some more life lessons. And even with my job today, I make mistakes all the time, and working as a team, and my loan officer assistant, my processor, my branch manager, my underwriters, like they make me look good because it's a checks and balances system to all work together. And that teamwork, there's the old saying, there's no I in team. Like you have to be surrounded by amazing people help you grow. And that's one of my other favorite sayings is show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And it's so true. Like I'm inspired by overachieving people, overachieving in work, in life, in parenting. You inspire me. And I've told you that, like, it's amazing. And if I can just get the little flex from these overachieving people that I can learn and grow from, it's a win. There's so much room at the top.
There's
For
so much room and there's so much opportunity. And the more people that I interact with who are at a higher level, they're there. Most people, I don't know if I've really had anybody say, no, I'm not going to help you. They're there to like help pull you up. So I think
yeah,
people have this misconception of anybody who is successful. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people who are not going to be willing to help, but truly successful people and truly wealthy people, the people that I've come across are always looking to pull other people up with them. If they see that they have the drive and the motivation, the discipline, I shouldn't even say motivation because motivation is fleeting, it comes and goes. So if people
Mhm.
see the motivation and the commitment, they are going to be willing to help you, but you have to put in the work. You have to have that grit. Because I'm sure that there's been many times where you were told no, that you got discouraged. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't just, oh, easy peasy, like, oh, okay, no problem. I'll just brush it off. No, I'm sure you got discouraged.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been lots of failures with every success, right? Even now, looking at the things that I'm working on with my path of workflow and juggling with parenting and a successful marriage, there is work. There is no easy in any of it. It's
No.
just a matter of juggling and then identifying, okay, this ball is taking more time or it's not worth it, and setting the balls down before they all fall. And even if it's from not volunteering as much or picking up more volunteer activities and things that resonate with you or that your kids are enjoyable, I don't know. It's a balancing act the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is. It really is. And it is hard to know, is this right for me? Should I do this? I wish there was a clear path that we know we're supposed to follow, and there's not. It's for me, I've known and followed my tuition. I have an intuition where I just kind of go off of my feeling, which probably has gotten me in some trouble sometimes. But overall, like we have that intuition ultimately that if there's somebody who it's just not sitting right, but you can't quite understand why, it's probably not going to work out. And I was listening to a podcast kind of around that we all kind of have that general intuition that yes, this could be a good connection. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a good business opportunity. Maybe it's not. Most people, I would say, steer on the caution or the side of caution, and they're not willing to take on those risks. And if you don't get comfortable being uncomfortable, you're never going to step outside that comfort zone and grow because that is where growth is outside that comfort zone.
Yep. And I think of that comfort zone as a hula hoop or a cliff, right? You walk up to it and you look over the edge. You're like, oh, not today. And you back up. And then you walk up again and you're like, maybe today. And you take one step over and you still come back. And that's what we do. Everyone does. It's human nature in decision making and how you approach life and how you approach whatever business vendor, everything.
Mhm.
And so that hula hoop, it's so important to grow as a person to step over that. But you have to do it in a wise way. You just can't make rash decisions. And I do believe that if something's resonating in your heart, that it is there for a reason. It's either there to tell you do or don't.
Mhm.
And those resonations can take years. It can take, I remember we're on our 13th house. We've bought homes all over the country.
Wow.
And I have an addiction to real estate. And on our probably ninth house there, what we were at Indiana Credit Union, like it's for all and I was at Indiana University coaching. My husband was at Riley Children's Hospital, and we used IU Credit Union. And I remember there's this loan officer there named Matt, and Matt did a really good job for us. And that was the first time I was like, I could see myself doing that job. Like he was asking all the right questions. We had really complicated stuff going on, and he was just fun to work with. And that was years ago. That was 3 years before I even met my boss. But and why did God put that in my heart? As I'm sitting in this little credit union office thinking, his job kind of looks fun. He's doing like,
Yeah.
who thinks that? But I did. It resonated in my heart, right? And then lo and behold, here I am doing mortgages all day, every day, and loving it. And I
Mhm.
think the other question that resonation is,
Yeah.
why are you doing what you do? What is the why? And if you don't know the why, you
Mhm.
don't have a path forward. You have to know your why. And for me, the why is the human element, right? The human element is helping people. My passion is helping people. And I think that's why I loved coaching so much. It isn't about the sport, it isn't about the dive, it isn't about college athletics. It's about that human element, getting to know those kids, those college athletes, and making that tiny little impact in that kid's life. And that's what my job does now. I get to help those first time home buyers. I get to help the people that are seasoned investors. I get to help the family that is just getting into the buying process or really is borderline if they can afford it, and we make the numbers work so it can be life-changing for them. That is my why. And I'm guilty of not going after the big deals, but I go after the hard ones, like the ones that the people really need the help. Whether and help looks different. Help looks different in just crunching numbers. Help looks different in, hey, you need to actually go back and save a little bit more. Hey, you need to work on your credit just a little bit. Like, what does that, because help is different depending on your situation.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. And I know I don't believe I would be a very good loan officer because it's a very attention to detail kind of person. I think it takes somebody who's very attention to detail and obviously stays up with the changes and all of that stuff, but especially attention to detail. I am not that person. I have found that out early on. And I remember when I was always filling out applications to apply for different jobs. And I always go back to this because I used to I was a counselor in a way years ago. And I remember applying for a job and I'm like, oh, please, I want this job so bad. And one of the things that I put in there that I was very analytical. I'll never forget writing that. And I was like, that's not true. But I think that's what they want to hear. And I remember not getting it. And I was like, gosh darn it. I know there's a reason I didn't get it. Like the interview went great. I was sweating, but the interview went great. I made good connections, but I didn't get the job, which at the time, I was like, why did I not get that? Why was that not meant for me? It was a better paying job. There was better benefits, but God always has a plan. And I remember being devastated when I was told I didn't get the job because I was like, why not? You know, I'd applied for a couple different jobs and we were, I think, pregnant. I don't remember the whole thing, but I think I was having a baby and that's why I so badly wanted a new job. But you get denied a lot. And the biggest thing, one of the things that we talked about here recently in our Real Moms group is having the belief and kind of going back to what you were saying about the community and the atmosphere and the people you surround yourself with. Like you have to get in the room of believers and faith that there is a plan. And even if you don't have the faith in God per se, just something higher than you, that you have to believe that there is more to your life, but you have to be willing to do the work and put in that work and have the grit to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that.
Now, you haven't had to make any sacrifices, have you, as a mom and a business owner?
Right?
Well, I think that's kind of the misconception. I get so many people that are like, oh, I want to get into real estate or I want to do my own thing so I can have more time.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot more commitment than people think.
Oh, it's a juggle, right? And the reason I stepped back from coaching is because I had 2 kids back to back. We kind of joke they're Irish twins, like they're twins, but they're not twins. And those hard years of breastfeeding 2 babies at the same time. And when ours was 6 months old, that's when I found out we were pregnant again. Yeah. And we prayed about it. And here we are with the best thing that God has ever given us. And it was in our plan and it's been incredible. But yeah, even going for my first, right, I'm coming off of having 2 kids, I'm studying, and I remember getting up multiple times throughout the night to feed my babies, and I'm studying for my exams for my job that I have now, and it was hard. And my husband was working out of our bedroom at the time, and so, right, I'm getting my 2-hour block of sleep, and he would click on his laptop to start his job because that's where life was. And that chapter that you're in now is not the chapter you're always going to be in.
Right.
And even for going for my headshots, like my first, okay, you got your job. Now we need a photo. And I'm like doing my makeup and my hairs. I've got 2 little kids that are pulling on me. And then one of them pukes all over me. And I'm like, that's just what it is. Right. And then the training, it's not easy, but now when I look back, it was worth it. It was worth it. And to me, what resonates in my heart is I'm a worker bee. I love showing my kids what working parents look like. Yeah. I love showing my kids. I'm a numbers junkie. I mean, I am the person with an Excel spreadsheet, a cup of coffee, and just let me out those numbers. That is just fun for me. And so teaching them about compounding interest, setting up their savings accounts, letting them look through the stock tickers at Pamper Stock. And they love, we fly Southwest Airlines, like for them to be little and to know how that works. It's fun. And I don't know, just every person has their strengths. And I feel like God has blessed me as a worker bee. And this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And right, even if the balancing act was me just earning enough money to pay for childcare,
Yeah.
that is still a life lesson that they learn to be away from home. There are some really great things that come out of working women and what it teaches children when parents work.
Mm-hmm.
And I admire those that have the God-given gifts to be a stay-at-home mom and to love that. And that is not my calling. And that's okay that it's not my calling.
I know. And honestly, I mean, so many props to the women who chose to be a stay-at-home mom or have to be a stay-at-home mom. But
Yeah.
either way, like it is a mental struggle because even being home just for a couple weeks with my kids,
Everything.
love them dearly, but I need to
Yeah.
fly. I need to go somewhere else.
Yes, every path you choose has a cost. It may not be a monetary cost, but it has a cost and it has a benefit. And every family has to decide what is best for them. What is that cost point of the benefit versus the hindrance of if it's going to work? And for me, I love my bank. I'm with one of the highest ranked financial institutions in the country. And I absolutely love it. I only hope I get to retire from this company. I believe this will be my last employer for the next 20 years. And even with the crazy climate we're in now with rates and you know what we're in, my phone just keeps ringing. And I just feel like that is God's plan that I'm just, even if every file is sticky and icky and challenging, that I'm thankful my phone just keeps ringing.
Like this is where you're supposed to be, especially at this point in time.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
This is where I'm supposed to be. I love my team. I love my company. I love the work that I do. I love the people I get to help. This checks every single box that I've ever wanted.
And I would say I feel the same way about real estate. I love everything about real estate. Right now I'm working on like different things in real estate though, but that's what I love about real estate is that you can go in so many different ways, but it is challenging when you kind of switch things up occasionally because I specialize right now with real residential, which will probably always be my bread and butter, but it's fun to kind of dive and dig into the investment side, which I have investments myself, but I'm saying like listing them and selling them and promoting them and then going down this other path that we're working on now too. It's just a lot of fun to try different things because I get a lot of people like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. I can't believe you're doing that. How are you doing that? I'm like, I don't know. I just rolled the punches. Like I stay open-minded about opportunities. I don't get lucky. I look for opportunities and people don't get lucky. It seems that way occasionally, but you have to be looking for the things that you want. So I'm always searching for opportunity. Like just keeping your head up and looking around, talking to people, making the connections. I mean, it's just, for example, my husband needed me to pick him up yesterday because of his tires and or, I don't know, whatever. And I wasn't going to, or I was going to, but I wasn't going to go in. I was just going to call him and tell him to come on out. Well, I walk in and I ran into somebody that I met about building a house. And then his wife came in and I was like, hey, you know what? You live right next to my property that I have under contract. Would you want to run over there, give it a good cleaning? Because I know she does stuff on the side. And then I was talking to somebody else about selling one of their rentals. I literally made 3 connections in a matter of 10 minutes when I wasn't even going to go inside. I happened to, it was the craziest thing. My husband's like, who are you talking to? Do you know who they are? You know?
I totally agree. And I've shared this with you that really my morning meditation, my prayers every day is God, whoever I'm supposed to impact today, let them find me. And whoever is supposed to be impacting me today, let me find them. And those connections just make, and right, it could be as simple as with the kids at school. I try to volunteer. Since I do have the flexibility to schedule my day, I do try to give back to our kids at school in many different ways. And meeting all the people there and at the park. I just feel like every day is a new opportunity to help someone or for me to help them or them to help me. And I never take even the slightest chance meeting it with as a grain of salt. Like it is part of the process and it's incredible.
It is. And I think one thing that we have to keep in mind, because especially when you get into the routine of doing the thing that you're doing, you love it and all those things, it kind of can get boring after a while. I mean, occasionally we go through those little lulls or you get more stressed. It's not always rainbows and unicorns and fun.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But one of the things that we talked about yesterday or a couple days ago at our last Real Moms group was learning to have fun again. Like, how can you make every day, every conversation, every phone call, make it more fun? Like, go into the phone call. So, like, if you've ever had to prospect, if you're prospecting and cold calling, like, it's not fun. Nobody, maybe some people do, but generally people don't look forward to it. Like, I get a prospect today. That sounds exciting, because it's not. But if you go into it as like, no, this is going to be exciting. I'm going to make a connection. I'm going to do what I can to help this individual. Like, if you just change your mindset around it, it
Yes.
one will change your mood and your thought process going into it, but then two, it'll also change how you show up to that person, whether it's on the phone or in person.
Yes.
And
And
it
I think,
helps.
yeah, that focus, because, right, the best conversations that I've had are focused people that are truly, genuinely interested and caring about what you have going on.
Yes.
And I try to stay mindful of every phone call, even if my phone rings crazy, like your phone rings crazy, and nights, weekends, whatever, that you mindfully, how are you doing? Tell
Yeah.
me about this,
Yeah.
right? That you truly get to, these aren't just, they become your friends. Your clients turn into your friends, the people that you care about and you know their story and you're cheering them on.
Yes.
And it's so important. And I attempt to approach every phone call, every interaction that way. I know I probably don't have 100% success rate, because as kids are pulling on you, as
Yeah. You do what you
everything's,
can. Yeah.
yeah,
And if you can pull other people up with you, one of the quotes that I heard, I don't remember who said it, but I've always loved it, is if you help others get where they want to go, you'll get where you want to go. And it's not, and I don't want to say that in a selfish way, like, oh, just because I helped you, now I should get what I want. That's not what it is. Like, you truly need to go into it wanting to help other people. And that's kind of why I started this whole thing, is because I want other people to know that, especially mompreneurs, is it's not always going to be easy. It is a balancing act. You're gonna have struggles in one area when another area is succeeding. With every new level comes a new devil. So just because you get to the next level of where you want to go doesn't mean everything's going to be smooth sailing. No, usually when you get there, you got more expenses. So then it's just kind of like a ladder and a domino effect. And then when you make changes, there comes, okay, now spouse, I need you to fill in and step in and help out, because I'm going to be more focused on this. So then there could be tension in a relationship. And then you got to focus on the relationship a little bit more to build that relationship back up. I mean, there's always going to be this like give and take, tug and pull kind of thing.
yep. And whether you're starting a new business, growing as a person, growing in whatever it is you want to, areas of your life you want to grow in, and even when we're training for college athletics, you've got plateaus, you'll plateau, you'll peak, you'll drop, then the new plateau will be even higher. And it is that every single time. And when you look at that in the balance of your life, every single peak will be met with a valley. And
Mm-hmm.
those valleys will change the depth, they'll change the gradient, it'll change. But then all of a sudden, your new normal is higher, your new average is higher. And when you look at, who you surround yourselves with, that's why it's so important to pick good mentors. And when you're getting into a new career path or whatever you're interested in, if it's, I don't know, making sourdough bread or wanting to start up, whatever it is, that you find that person that you feel like has achieved something you can't, and just ask them, how are you doing this? What is it? And I'm notorious for having a 20 item list of questions for the people. I approached the head US Olympic coach, right? He took the time to just answer my list of questions. My boss, my current boss, Robin Malsbury, I mean, she was incredible with not sweeping me under the rug, of truly answering my questions and seeing that there was a desire to learn and grow as a person, and then fostering that.
And I think that even when people are really busy, oh, sorry, one second. I actually hit my mouse. When people are really busy and somebody does approach them, obviously you kind of gauge like, okay, where are we at? Is this person just going to be kicking rocks, whatever the case is? And I'm sure you can kind of tell that with somebody who might be interested in buying a house, whatever. But ultimately, I try not to say no to too many things. I know people always say every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. But I always look at something as an opportunity. So obviously, when you reached out to me and you said, hey, you want to go get lunch or coffee? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really have intentions at this point in time with anything, but let's see. Like, there's no harm in it. It's an hour and a half out of my day. I had time. I had somebody else reach out to me. Like, I have a marketing lady, and I had another marketing person contact me. And they're like, "Can I do this stuff for free for you? I want to do this, and let's get these recordings and blah, blah, blah." I'm like, well, actually, she asked if we could meet in person. I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. And she's just trying to build up her marketing, I guess, her marketing so she can advertise. So she's doing this stuff for free for me so she can promote it to other individuals. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but I didn't know that when she called me initially, but I said
Yeah.
yes to the opportunity. And it led to getting a ton of content creation, you know? So, I mean, I try not to say no to too many things, and that's like being on boards and committees. You kind of have to
Mhm.
gauge, okay, what makes sense for me right now? I probably get involved in too many things, but the things that I've said yes to this year have led me to some great opportunities that I would never have had the opportunity to be a part of if I didn't say yes to those things. So, but yeah, I mean, I think just being open to opportunities and saying yes to stuff is really important.
And getting outside of that comfort zone, because you take on projects. That I did a t-shirt project for the school this year, and right, I'm not on the PTSA board. I'm simply just trying to help, and there's a learning curve. Right, it's just getting outside of that comfort level of what can we do, where can I learn. Well, I needed to pick up a hobby. I have zero hobbies besides parenting and working. So yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna learn golf, and I intentionally went to join the ladies league at a course that I know no one. Number one, then I can be really bad and they won't know me. But also, it's a great opportunity to just meet new people, right? If I go to the club that all my friends are members of, I'm going to be in that bucket of this is my group.
Yeah.
And for me, for growth as a person, for networking, for non-judgment of others, it was a perfect opportunity for me. And it's so uncomfortable to pull up to a place and be like, "Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm going to golf and I'm going to be really
Yes.
bad." But I had a blast. It was fun.
Well, and I think that a lot of people think that somebody who is successful or an entrepreneur is an extrovert. I will tell you, I can build relationships pretty fairly easily, but I am an introvert. I'm not an overly extrovert, which people find pretty interesting. But if I had a choice of going out or staying home, I'm staying home. I like that.
Yes.
That's my thing. That's my thing.
Mhm.
And so you don't have to be one or the other. But yeah, like the thought of going somewhere new where I don't know anybody, especially golf. I'm terrible at golf. It would be nerve-wracking. I'd be like, hey guys. Like, I'm pretty awkward. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
yeah. And then multiple times, because I'm so easily distracted, it's just how God made me. I like would leave my clubs at the putter. You're like, and so multiple times other people are having to bring my clubs because I left them at the last one.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Oh, it's cringy. It's so cringy, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay.
That is too funny. That's too funny. Well, Kelly, I want to honestly thank you for being here, but tell me what is one, before we go, what is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who's either just starting into entrepreneurship or maybe even like your younger self?
Yeah. Oh, just one. Okay. I might bullet point it with three.
You can do whatever you
Okay.
want. Give them three because,
There
and
you
then
go.
they can choose which one works for them.
There you go. There you go. So my first one would be just to cast your net wide. Don't limit yourself, whether it's applying for colleges, whether it's thinking outside the box. The smaller you cast your net, the least amount you're going to catch. So cast your net wide in every aspect, in your thinking, in how you approach challenges, how you approach your goals. And right, once you start that staircase of success, you'll think, oh, I only wanted to get to stair number 3. And then you're at stair number 3 and you go back, wait a minute, I can go to stair number 8. It just continues. And then the people that you surround yourself by on those stairs, all of a sudden you look around and everyone is like-minded and has this laundry list of successes. And so the first piece of advice is cast your net wide in everything that you do. The second, and I even like wrote these down so I would make sure that I stay on track. Define your success.
Mm-hmm.
Your definition of success is going to change in which chapter you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And so success for a young person could be like, what is that job? Success isn't just a career title or a number on a tax return. Success is, are you showing up as a parent? Are you feeding your kids well? are you your success? And right, the little successes have sometimes been my greatest successes of I have to go down a rabbit hole of what type of parent am I going to be?
Yeah.
What what is my stance on all these things that I've never encountered before? And many times my answer is, I don't know. I have to go research because I have a gap in my thought process, a gap in my education, a gap in it. This is what I've been taught historically, but this doesn't feel right. To
Mm-hmm.
truly define what is success, what does that look like for you in this chapter? And then change as your chapters change, you redefine that success. To me, my success right now is a happy, healthy, functioning family, a vibrant place to raise my kids. I'm teaching them about God, that I've got a healthy, functioning marriage, that I'm a worker bee at my job, and I'm trying to not create too many fires for my team to put out, and that I have this amazing work-life balance, and I'm able to help my clients. Like that is what success is in today's chapter. That hasn't always been what I've deemed as successful. And then to know your why. Why are you doing what you do? If you don't have the why, you don't have a path forward. You have to know why it is you're chasing this.
Mm-hmm.
And once you know that why, that path will start to open up.
Yeah.
And then just surrounding yourself with the mentors, going and asking the people around you that you know or met, or even people you don't know, can you teach me? That wheel most likely has already been created. It's been invented. You just have to learn what pieces of that hub and spoke model you want to bring to your wheel.
Yeah.
You may not like all of it. You may not like pieces of it. You'll have your own creativity, your own thought process, your own system, but you taking the pieces that resonate with you and then making it your own, it saves you a lot of time in the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I like how you said that your success will always change, like your idea of success, because I would say 6 years ago, my success would be where I'm at today. Well, now I'm like, okay, well, that's not what I want. Now I want more. It's not, and it's not about the money either. It's like, how much
No.
more can I do in my life internally, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of those things. Like this year, my main focus has been spiritually, like getting closer to God and building my closer network of people and building that strong connection, whether it's with my siblings, my parents, my husband, my kids. That's been a really big focus for me, and God for sure. Like I've always been Christian, but this year I was like, I really want to dive in deeper. And that was just one of the biggest things that I wanted to focus on this year. So it doesn't always need to be financially. And that's why you see a lot of people who are like, they sell their businesses for multi-million dollars or $1 billion and they never stop, because it's not about the money. It gets to the point where I'm no longer doing this for the money, because if you are doing something and you're chasing the money, it will not work out. It might work out for a while, but eventually it's going to crumble because it's not your passion. It's not anything that you love. If you have to get up every day and you're making tens of thousands of dollars, but you hate everything about it, eventually it's going to burn you out. Like you want to get up and you want to love what you do. And like they always say, and I don't love what I do every single day. And I'm sure there's days where you're like, that was a dumpster fire of a day, but we're going to start on another one. And that's not what I'm saying, because you just with everything that you do, you're not going to every single thing, but you still need to enjoy what you're doing in life.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And as it is, your basic needs have to be met. You have to have food. You have to have a safe place to live. You need love from the people around you and financial security. And if those basic needs are not being met, you need lifestyle changes.
Mhm.
Once those basic needs are met, then you go to your goals. Then you go to your wish list.
Yeah.
And right as those puzzle pieces are in place, it'll just keep growing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So Kelly, if somebody is looking now, do you do financing in all 50 states, just specific ones?
Yep. So the bank that I'm with is a nationwide bank. So I think we're in 49 states. New York, for some reason, we can't get, I don't know. New York has some crazy laws out there. So 49 states. But me personally, I originate in Nebraska, Washington, and Idaho, and I do a pretty tremendous volume there. in those states. And so we've got 50 plus loan programs. So we're one of the top VA lenders in the country. We do more VA loans than most other banks. We can do the really fancy, huge, beautiful homes. We can do the acreages that have cute little houses on them. We can do manufactured homes. We can do it all. And I can be very creative. And one of the tricks that my branch managers put me through so much training is really watching those algorithms and checking everything against the banking software in Excel and really moving the puzzle pieces around, that we're truly hand calculating these and making sure these numbers are right. The complex stuff is my strength. I love a good challenge. I love, the people that just want to get on the phone and ask tons of questions because they're new to it. So we do it all, and I love it. It's fun. It's engaging. It's challenging. I'm just blessed to have found my little piece of the world.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So if somebody is moving to one of those states, how can they get a hold of you?
Yep. So they can, I'm sure you'll be putting out links, but click on our bio. I've got an online application they can do. I'm happy to pick up the phone and get all their information over the phone. And whether they're if they're moving from Nebraska to whatever state, I can start the process and connect them with the loan officer that is right there in their new location of their new home. Or if they're moving to Nebraska, same thing. All the states, it's all interconnected. We can help them nationwide.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kelly, for being here. And I truly appreciate you taking the time talking to us about everything that you've done, going from where you started with coaching. That's amazing. Very impressive. To where you are now, and just having that faith that God has a plan for you and having that grit and not giving up. So we appreciate that very much so.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. And I'm just cheering you on from here and admiring you from afar. And, I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kelly. All right. Thanks. Bye. And that wraps up another inspiring episode of the Real Moms Podcast. A huge thank you to our incredible guests for sharing their story and insights today. If you found value in today's conversation, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And hey, sharing is caring, right? Share this podcast with your fellow mompreneurs, friends, and anyone who you feel could use a dose of inspiration. Share it on your social media as well. But most importantly, if you found this episode helpful, please, please, please leave me a 5-star review. This helps get our information out to those who have never heard or seen us before. Are you feeling inspired and you're sure that you could add some value to the podcast? Shoot me a message and let's talk. We love hearing from you. So connect with us on social media. Tag me at Shay J Spitz. That's ShaeJSpitz. And share your thoughts and takeaways, or even suggest topics you'd like to have us explore more in the future episodes. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. Your resilience is your strength, and your pursuit of abundant living is truly remarkable. As always, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep embracing the beautiful chaos of being a mompreneur. Until next time, take care, stay real, and keep living abundantly.